Have you ever stopped to think about why some people seem capable of doing difficult things every single day, while most people struggle to keep a promise to themselves for even a week? More than 400 years ago, a young samurai in feudal Japan would wake before sunrise. No alarm clock, no motivational videos, no productivity apps, no inspirational quotes. Yet day after day, year after year, he followed the same routine with relentless precision. Today, we live in a world with more tools, more information, and more opportunities than any generation in history. And yet anxiety is rising. Attention spans are shrinking. Procrastination has become a daily battle. Millions of people go to bed promising themselves that tomorrow will be different. Tomorrow, they will wake up early. Tomorrow, they will finally start the business. Tomorrow, they will exercise. Tomorrow, they will become the person they keep imagining. But tomorrow arrives, and nothing changes. The truth is, the problem was never a lack of motivation. The truth is, the problem was never a lack of information. The truth is, the problem has always been something far more dangerous. A lack of structure, a lack of identity, a lack of a system strong enough to survive your emotions. And you are not alone in this. In fact, researchers from Harvard and Stanford have repeatedly found that long-term success is rarely determined by motivation alone. The people who consistently achieve difficult goals are not necessarily more talented or more inspired. They simply rely on systems that continue working even when motivation disappears. That raises an important question. What if the secret to discipline was discovered centuries ago? What if ancient warriors already understood something that modern society has forgotten? In this video, we will explore a powerful combination of two ancient Japanese principles that helped shape some of the most disciplined individuals in history. A method built on small daily victories. A method built on purpose rather than feelings. A method that transforms discipline from a struggle into a way of life. But instead of teaching it through theory, I want to show you exactly how it works through the story of Ethan, a 29-year-old software engineer who failed dozens of times to build lasting habits before discovering a system that changed everything. Welcome to the channel, where we build a community around timeless wisdom and practical self-mastery. If you want to take control of your mind instead of being controlled by your impulses, subscribe and turn on notifications. And before we begin, leave a comment below and tell me, what is the one habit you have been trying to build but keep failing to maintain? Because after this video, you may never look at discipline the same way again. Chapter 1. The Endless Loop. In today's video, I'm going to tell you the story of a man named Ethan. Ethan was 29 years old. He lived in Seattle. He worked as a software engineer for a growing tech company. From the outside, his life looked successful. A stable income, a comfortable apartment, a promising career. But every morning, he woke up with the same feeling: frustration. Because deep down, Ethan knew something wasn't right. He had goals, big goals. He wanted to get in shape, start a business, read more books, build a stronger mind. The problem was that none of those things ever lasted. Every Sunday night, Ethan would sit at his desk and create a new plan. This time would be different. This time he would stay disciplined. This time he would finally become the person he imagined. For a few days, everything seemed perfect. He woke up early. He exercised. He focused. He felt powerful. Then something happened. He overslept once, skipped one workout, missed one task, and suddenly the entire system collapsed. One mistake became three became 10. Before long, he was right back where he started, scrolling endlessly through social media, watching other people build the life he wanted, telling himself he would start again next Monday. The cycle repeated itself for years. Hope, action, failure, regret, again and again and again. What made it even worse was that Ethan wasn't lazy. He cared deeply about improving his life. That was the painful part. The more he wanted change, the more disappointed he became with himself. Every broken promise slowly damaged the way he saw himself. Until one day, he began to believe a dangerous lie. Maybe he simply wasn't disciplined enough. Maybe some people were born strong, and maybe he wasn't one of them. But what Ethan didn't realize was that the problem had never been his discipline. The problem was the system he was using. And everything changed the day he discovered a forgotten lesson from the samurai. Chapter 2: The Collapse. At first, Ethan thought the answer was simple. Work harder, push harder, force yourself. That's what everyone online seemed to be saying. Wake up earlier, do more, sleep less, grind harder. So that's exactly what he did. He downloaded productivity apps, bought planners, created color-coded schedules, watched hours of motivational content. For a while, it worked. Or at least it looked like it worked. His days became packed with goals. His calendar was full. His to-do lists were endless. But something strange started happening. The more he tried to control his life, the more exhausted he became. Every day felt like a battle, not against the world, against himself. He would wake up already tired, open his phone before getting out of bed, check notifications, scroll social media, compare his life to people he had never met. And before the day had even started, he felt behind. Weeks turned into months. Months turned into years. The pressure kept growing, but the results never came. The gap between who he was and who he wanted to become felt larger than ever. That was the moment the silent exhaustion began, the kind nobody talks about. Not physical exhaustion, mental exhaustion. The exhaustion of constantly starting over. The exhaustion of making promises you no longer believe. The exhaustion of watching your confidence slowly disappear. Every failure became evidence. Every missed habit became proof. Proof that maybe he lacked discipline. Proof that maybe he lacked what successful people had. And eventually, Ethan stopped trusting himself. When he wrote down a goal, a voice inside his head would whisper, "You won't stick to it." When he promised to wake up early, the voice returned, "You've said that before." The most dangerous part wasn't the failure. It was the identity he was creating. Without realizing it, Ethan had stopped seeing himself as someone capable of change. He wasn't fighting laziness anymore. He was fighting a belief that he would always quit. And that belief was becoming stronger every day. But what Ethan couldn't see was that his collapse was not the end of the story. It was the beginning. Because sometimes the old version of you must completely break apart before a stronger one can be built. Chapter 3: The Discovery. And then something changed. Not all at once, not through some dramatic breakthrough, not through another motivational video. It happened on an ordinary Tuesday, a day that looked exactly like every other day. Ethan had just finished work. His mind was exhausted. His motivation was gone. And for the first time in years, he admitted something to himself. Maybe the problem wasn't effort. Maybe the problem was the way he was trying. A few days later, while visiting a small bookstore near his apartment, something caught his attention. An old book, worn edges, faded pages, a title he had never seen before. The Discipline of the Samurai. Curious, he picked it up. Inside was a handwritten note, just one sentence. The man who masters himself needs no motivation. Ethan stared at those words. Something felt different. For years, he had been searching for ways to become more motivated. But what if motivation had never been the answer? The following week, he returned to the bookstore. The owner was an elderly Japanese man named Satoshi. Quiet, calm, observant. The kind of person who seemed completely unaffected by the chaos of the modern world. After a short conversation, Ethan asked him a simple question. "How do I become more disciplined?" Satoshi smiled. Then he shook his head. "That is the wrong question." Ethan was confused. Satoshi continued, "You do not become disciplined by forcing yourself to do difficult things. You become disciplined by making discipline unavoidable." For a moment, Ethan said nothing. The idea sounded almost too simple, yet it challenged everything he believed. For years, he had been fighting himself, using willpower as a weapon, treating every day like a battle. But according to Satoshi, true discipline was not about fighting. It was about designing a life where the right action became the natural action. That was the first time Ethan heard two words that would eventually transform his life: Kaizen and Bushido. Ancient principles, timeless wisdom, a forgotten system hidden beneath centuries of history. And what Satoshi revealed next would completely change the way Ethan viewed discipline forever. Chapter 4: The First Law of Kaizen. Satoshi reached for a small notebook sitting on the shelf beside him. The pages were old, the cover was worn, yet he handled it with extraordinary care. Then he asked Ethan a question. How much do you think you need to improve to change your life? Ethan thought for a moment. A lot. Satoshi smiled. That is why you keep failing. The answer surprised him. For years, Ethan believed transformation required massive action, massive effort, massive sacrifice. He believed success belonged to people willing to completely reinvent themselves overnight. But Satoshi disagreed. The samurai did not become masters in a single day. They became masters through thousands of tiny victories. Then he introduced Ethan to the first principle: Kaizen, the Japanese philosophy of continuous improvement. Not dramatic improvement, not extreme improvement, continuous improvement. Small, consistent, daily. At first, Ethan was disappointed. The idea sounded too simple, too ordinary, too slow. Like most people, he wanted results now. He wanted to feel different immediately. But that desire was exactly what had trapped him for years. Satoshi explained something powerful. When the goal is too large, the mind creates resistance. When the step is small enough, resistance disappears. For the first time, Ethan began to understand. The real enemy was never hard work. The enemy was hesitation. The enemy was the fear that appeared before action. The voice that said, "Start tomorrow. Do it later. You're not ready." So Satoshi gave him a challenge. Read one page. Not one chapter. One page. Do one push-up. Not 50. One. Write for 1 minute. Not an hour. 1 minute. Ethan almost laughed. How could something so small possibly change a life? But he agreed. The next morning, he completed every task. Not because he felt motivated, because the tasks were too small to avoid. And something unusual happened. For the first time in years, he finished what he started. Then he did it again the next day, and the day after that. That was when Ethan discovered a truth most people never learn. Discipline is not built through giant acts of strength. It is built through small promises kept repeatedly. Every day, every action, every victory, no matter how small. And without realizing it, Ethan had already taken the first step toward becoming a different person. Chapter 5: The Relapse. For a while, everything seemed to be working. Ethan followed the system. 1 page, 1 push-up, 1 minute. Nothing impressive, nothing heroic. But something was changing. For the first time in years, he was consistent. 1 day became 7. 7 became 14. 14 became 30. The small victories began to accumulate. His confidence slowly returned. Not because his life was changing overnight, because he was finally keeping promises to himself. Then came the relapse. It happened without warning. A stressful project at work, long hours, poor sleep, unexpected problems, the kind of week that knocks people off course. One morning, Ethan skipped his reading. The next day, he skipped his workout. Then another day passed, and another. Within a week, the old pattern had returned. His morning routine disappeared. His focus faded. The familiar voice came back. The same voice he had heard for years. "There you go again. You always quit. Nothing has changed." For a moment, Ethan believed it. The disappointment felt heavier than before, because this time he thought he had finally found the answer. He sat alone in his apartment, staring at the notebook Satoshi had given him, frustrated, angry, ashamed. Then he remembered something Satoshi once said. The goal of Kaizen is not perfection. The goal of Kaizen is returning. Ethan read the sentence again and again. Returning, not perfection. Returning. That was the lesson he had missed. For years, he believed failure happened the moment he broke a streak. The samurai believed something different. Failure was not falling down. Failure was refusing to stand back up. Every warrior stumbles. Every warrior makes mistakes. Every warrior loses battles. What separates the disciplined from everyone else is simple. They return faster. The next morning, Ethan did not attempt to fix everything. He did not create a new schedule. He did not make grand promises. He simply read one page. That was all. The following day, he did one push-up, then 1 minute of focused work. Small actions, tiny victories. But this time, they carried a different meaning. Because Ethan finally understood that discipline was not a straight line. It was a cycle. Fall, return, learn, repeat. And in that moment, something inside him changed. He stopped trying to become perfect and started becoming resilient, like the samurai before him. He no longer measured success by how many times he never failed. He measured success by how quickly he stood back up. And that changed everything. Chapter 6. The Science Behind the Samurai. At this point, Ethan began to notice something strange. The system was working, not perfectly, but consistently, and he wanted to know why. Why did one push-up work better than a 1-hour workout plan? Why did one page work better than a promise to read 50? Why did tiny actions succeed where massive effort had failed? When he asked Satoshi, the old man smiled. Then he pointed to Ethan's head. The battle has always been happening here. Inside the human brain exists an ancient survival system, a system designed to protect you, not improve you. One of its key components is the amygdala. Think of it as your internal alarm system. Its job is simple: detect threats, avoid danger, conserve energy. The problem is that your brain often treats change as a threat, a new habit, a new routine, a difficult challenge. To the amygdala, these can feel risky, uncomfortable, uncertain. And when uncertainty appears, resistance follows. That is why motivation fades so quickly. Your survival brain wants familiarity, not growth. But Kaizen does something powerful. It bypasses the alarm system. A single push-up does not feel threatening. One page does not feel dangerous. 1 minute feels safe. The resistance never fully activates. And once action begins, another part of the brain takes over, the prefrontal cortex, the area responsible for decision-making, focus, self-control, long-term thinking. Every time Ethan completed a small action, he strengthened this system, not through intensity, through repetition. Then came the most important discovery of all: neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself. Most people believe discipline is a personality trait, something you either have or you don't. Science tells a different story. Every repeated action strengthens a neural pathway. Every habit creates a stronger connection. Every small victory teaches the brain a new identity. At first, Ethan was becoming someone who occasionally followed through. Then he became someone who usually followed through. Eventually, he became someone who simply did what he said he would do. That is how transformation happens. Not in a single breakthrough, not through one moment of inspiration, but through thousands of repetitions that slowly reshape the brain itself. The samurai understood this centuries before neuroscience could explain it. They knew that repeated actions create repeated identities, and repeated identities create destiny. What Ethan was building was no longer a habit. He was building a new version of himself. Chapter 7. The Samurai Code. But there was one final lesson Satoshi needed Ethan to understand. A lesson more important than habits, more important than routines, more important than motivation itself. One evening, as they sat together in silence, Satoshi asked a simple question. Who are you becoming? Ethan immediately started listing his goals. He wanted to be healthier, more productive, more disciplined. Satoshi shook his head. Those are outcomes. That is not what I asked. For a moment, Ethan was confused. Then Satoshi explained. Most people focus on what they want to achieve. Very few focus on who they need to become. And that difference changes everything. The samurai never asked themselves whether they felt like training. They never negotiated with their emotions. They followed a code, a personal standard, a way of living that existed regardless of mood, weather, or circumstances. That was the essence of Bushido. Duty before feelings, action before excuses, character before comfort. Suddenly, Ethan realized why he had struggled for so many years. His habits were built on motivation. His identity was built on hope, and hope is fragile. When motivation disappeared, everything collapsed. But a code does not disappear. A code remains. So Satoshi challenged him to create his own. Only 3 rules. Simple, non-negotiable. No phone before breakfast. Read every day. Keep promises to yourself. That was all. Nothing complicated, nothing extreme. But something remarkable happened. Every time Ethan followed those rules, he reinforced a new identity. Not the identity of someone trying to be disciplined, the identity of someone who was disciplined. That is the difference most people never understand. You do not rise to the level of your motivation. You fall to the level of your identity. And identity is built through repeated actions, day after day, choice after choice, promise after promise. Months later, Ethan no longer viewed discipline as something he needed to force. It had become part of who he was. Because true transformation begins the moment you stop asking, "What do I need to do?" and start asking, "Who do I choose to become?" And for Ethan, that answer was finally becoming clear. Conclusion. By now, you can probably see that Ethan's transformation was never about motivation. It was never about finding the perfect morning routine. It was never about becoming stronger overnight. The truth is, the problem was never a lack of discipline. The problem was a lack of a system. And that changes everything. Let's take a moment to remember what the Samurai Kaizen method actually taught us. First, small actions defeat resistance. When Ethan stopped trying to change his entire life and focused on 1 page, 1 push-up, and 1 minute, progress finally became possible. Second, perfection is not the goal. Returning is. Every time he fell off track, he learned to come back without shame, without excuses, without starting over from zero. Third, your brain is not your enemy. It is simply following the patterns it has learned. And through repetition, those patterns can be changed. Fourth, discipline is not something you do. It is someone you become. That was the lesson hidden inside the Samurai Code. Not motivation, identity, not feelings, standards, not intensity, consistency. Now the question is no longer about Ethan. The question is about you. Because somewhere in your life, there is probably a habit you've been postponing, a promise you've been breaking, a future version of yourself that is still waiting. And you are not alone in this. Millions of people spend years waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect mood, the perfect plan. But the samurai understood something most people never do. The perfect moment never arrives. Action creates clarity, not the other way around. So here is your challenge. For the next 14 days, choose 1 action that takes less than 60 seconds. 1 action, 1 commitment, 1 promise, and perform it every single day, no matter what. It could be 1 push-up, 1 page, 1 minute of focused work. The action itself does not matter. The identity you build does. Because every day you follow through, you cast a vote for the person you are becoming. And before you leave, I want you to answer 1 question. If your life were guided by a personal code like the samurai, what would be your first non-negotiable rule? Write it in the comments below. Make it public. Make it real. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. And remember, don't wait until you feel ready. Don't wait until next Monday. Don't wait until life becomes easier. Start today. Because the future version of you is being built by the choices you make right now. Be present, walk with honor, and follow the path.